Hello and welcome to the Jedi Council interviews number 8, and I am over the moon to welcome back, fresh from the UK Games Expo, as the TO, Ailsa. How are you doing?
Hello, yeah, still catching up on sleep, energy, but I can't because I'm at work. So
Straight back into it,
it's
yeah.
been work into work, but it was good work at the weekend. Less
Oh,
good work now, but
yeah.
it'll be great to have a rest on come Friday night.
Absolutely, absolutely, and well deserved, I think. So for those of you who are not familiar with Ailsa, please do just check out the first of the Jedi Council interviews, as you were my first guest. So yeah, you can hear more about Ailsa's background and how it got into the hobby, etc., etc. But for now, we're really going to just focus on a little bit of a debrief about the UK Games Expo.
Yep.
Sadly, I couldn't attend. I was devastated, and I was living vicariously on Longshanks, always checking. I was at a family barbecue on the Sunday. I was checking the results as I went through. So yeah, so living vicariously through that. But I think the first thing to really talk about is how fantastic it is that you actually, were there TOing, because when we did our first interview back earlier in the year, you weren't actually sure whether you were going to TO it. So what kind of swung your decision in terms of getting involved in the organisation?
Yeah, well, last year also it was a great time, really great attendance. We drew a lot of new faces, and it was a really fun weekend at Expo last year and really successful. When it came to this year, I was kind of thinking about like, okay, do I want to actually play some events? Do I want to have more con time? Because last year I was running it solo, a lot of new faces, a lot of work just with people who had never been to tournaments before, never been to conventions
Yeah.
before. So,
Yep.
there was a lot of upkeep there, and it meant together with the UKTC seminar on Friday, which kind of took out one of the big chunks where it would actually be an opportunity to kind of check out the con a bit. Didn't really have that, so it really did feel mostly like, again, good work, but kind of non-stop and not much opportunity to enjoy the con. I do really like Games Expo as well. This is my third time now. I went to the first year when the GTs were running as a player for the Saturday and Sunday. Um, so I was kind of in that mindset where, some stuff had gone on, and, do I want to just kind of enjoy myself, have a casual weekend, have fun? Then so and this is where co-TO Louis comes in, because we chat regularly, and obviously we've both been acquainted with that position, doing that work before, and we're both approached to do it in the first place. We originally were like, we didn't want to do this, especially by ourselves. We wanted to maybe have fun if we were going to Expo, check out some other things. It soon appeared like if we didn't run it, then it was probably not going to go ahead in any significant or
Yep.
great capacity.
Yep.
So we agreed to as co-TOs. So in order to share the load and kind of share the work,
Yeah.
and
I
that
mean
was
that's
basically
yeah.
the deal going in.
Yeah, well, I mean that's fantastic, and thank you to both you and Louis. Louis runs the events in London at Darksphere. If you have time
Yeah.
to attend one of those, I really do recommend them. Really nice, casual
Mhm.
but yet
Mhm.
competitive events. Very similar to the kind of TOing style that you have as well, I think. So yeah, I can see the two of you working really well, and yeah, thank you. Even though I couldn't attend, thank you from the wider Shatterpoint community for giving up that time, and that's something that I think that many people forget with TOing, is that actually this is often voluntary, or you might get some recompense back, but it's not. You're still giving up your time. You could be playing in a different event. You could be enjoying the expo yourself, and or just relaxing with family. You could be anything, right? So thank you for
Mhm.
giving your time for that. And I think I will mention just slightly as well. You mentioned there UKTC. So obviously, unfortunately, at the end of last year, we saw GT being cancelled from the UKTC events. There was a little bit of unfortunate prize issuing and stuff with some of the UKTC events in the UK. From your perspective, how did that go this year? All the prizes turn up, everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, so one of the big things going into this year was, I think last year there was a lot of just, it was mostly honestly communication issues, expectations of what support there was going to be for these events. So I definitely could tell the aim for this year was to really kind of pull back to a baseline, focus on predominantly Expo, and I know they're doing Edinburgh as well,
Yeah,
which
there's
I'm not
one that's been
involved in.
announced. Yeah, yeah.
But that's basically the only two. Um, and in addition, since the stuff last year, I'll mention Stu, who's works for UKTC now, in a kind of events capacity. He stepped in, I think, late last year. So this year was the first time dealing with him, and he's previously been a organizer for Heresy, I believe.
Okay.
So he's been in our shoes
Yep.
before, and already his communication and lead up to event, like pictures of like we've got the prize support here, we've got the stuff from last year, what can we give away on the Friday, various sort of things leading up. What do we need for the event? Do we need these other things like certificates, these sort of things, like various stuff on that. And the lead up was a lot more like there was just better communication.
That is fantastic to hear, and that's
So
great. Yeah.
gave us a lot more confidence going in that we were going to have a very smooth event. And on top of that, Expo is kind of a unique beast. It's a bit of a unique duck where it is also very much an Asmodee or AMG event, so they're directly got a hand in kind of like financing it, funding it, making sure it happens, and having someone in attendance at the expo kind of checking in how everything is going. It was the Wills last year, or Will and Ross last year,
Yeah.
Will Schick,
Yeah.
and then this year they had their marketing manager Will Rutherford here. So they have an interest in making sure the event goes well and that any feedback from it is actioned and taken seriously and leading on to the next year's events, I think. So I
That's
know,
great.
I think, hope Lou will be happy for me say that he did leave the event this time with a lot more optimistic attitude about the whole situation
Oh,
than
good,
maybe a few months ago. So,
good,
and
good.
myself, I can say the same. So.
Good. That I mean that ultimately that's fantastic to hear. I attended a couple of I attended one UKTC event. Unfortunately, the pricing wasn't as advertised. Again, it was that communication, right? It's a small thing, right? But again, it's just that communication barrier there. And then with that cancellation of a GT from the calendar, that was definitely something the community didn't want to see. And then to hear that there's been such a positive change and such a spin on that, and some and someone coming in as an overseeing role who's been on the ground, done that TOing aspect in those bigger events. That sounds absolutely fantastic. So yeah, really positive.
Yeah, and Stu was great. He was constantly checking in, like how we were going, need any help with things, and also just like we felt like a team this year. So quite
Brilliant.
often with the MCP judges and him, we were going out having judge dinners, kind of decompressing. Actually, working as a bit of a team, whereas last year we were very siloed, kind of running about like mad people.
Sure. Well, I mean, that again, that's amazing, right? That just that sense of a community, a wider community, not just the two of you, or you hang out with the players who then have to make judgment calls on. We're all we're friends in the community anyway. But there is something nice if you're at a big event to step back away from it and say, actually, no, I'm gonna hang out with the other judges this evening or something. That's really good, fantastic. So so obviously you were there as a judge primarily, but with the dual judge role, as you mentioned. Louis and yourself were both able to have some time at the UK Games Expo. So how was that for you personally, from the Expo point of view, before we kind of go into the tournament?
Yeah, so I still didn't have, the kind of time to really go around something like the bring and buys or, demo games properly, just because the length of time those kind of things take. But I was able to get around and actually check out a lot more of the stalls that I wanted to, get some purchases that I wanted to.
Yeah,
So
we can see
uh,
is that a Balin skull? Oh,
y-
and some MCP. Is that
it's
the
a,
is that
it's a
the GT?
Mephisto, so
Yeah,
that's the one you have to register online. And
nice.
then they were pre-selling the Mando army box for Legion,
Oh,
which actually doesn't
lovely.
come out for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Very good,
It was
very
kind of the
good.
first chance anywhere in the world really to get hands on it. And various other bits and pieces, just like tokens and little
Nice.
stuff. And Louis and I also played a kind of demo run through or full game of Gundam Assemble on the Saturday night.
Oh,
Had a
nice. Oh,
few
that's
people
good.
gathering round,
Yep.
kind of paired up to run through a game, and that was really fun.
Oh, that's great. So would you say, from your point of view, do you think that balance was right? I mean, I know you're fresh off one. You're tired. You just finished doing one. But
Yeah.
let's say you were approached again next year. Would you feel that something where you would want another TO to maybe get that same experience again, or would you rather attend at the moment, or were you thinking would you rather attend and actually maybe get the full Games Expo experience?
Yeah, it depends because like perhaps I've got like partner who wants to visit the expo or something like that, which might change my plans. But I think you know there's definitely not a reason otherwise that I wouldn't be happy to kind of jump on board again. But that would depend on
Yeah, other
how it
factors.
goes in the
Yeah,
future. Yeah,
fantastic.
what
Well,
happens in the future.
that's great to hear, and I'm really glad to hear that you were able to find a better balance this year. And actually get to enjoy some of the con and Louis as well. That's fantastic. So let's think about this then, and start talking about the event then. So the event was run over 3 days, and the main GT was on the Saturday and Sunday. And the original plan was if you had 32 players, it would be 3 games on day one and then two on day two, but that could expand if you hit over 32 players, so that you were always going to get one outright winner, right? There was never going to be we've got two 5-0s, or we've got two 4-0s. You wanted to make sure that you had a clear definitive winner. If someone was going to go undefeated, there would be a clear winner. And so we'll talk about the main GT in a moment. But then on the Friday, you were running it was a kind of casual Thremier event.
Yeah, it was just a Thremia event. Last year we did the Frenemies, which had like all sorts of weird rules with regard to like list building and stuff. We decided to just kind of keep it simpler this year
Yeah,
and just
nice.
run a Thremia. And I think what we saw is like people took that as one of two ways. Either they cut down their GT list, took out a squad basically, and used it as kind of just a warm up. And then some other people either just coming for that or just used it as ability to try something a bit more wacky.
Yeah, lovely,
Think
lovely.
there's like an aquatic list and like a separatist Thremia and stuff like that in there.
Nice,
If you have a
nice.
look.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
was all for no prizes, so we were literally just giving away stuff each round.
All right. Okay. So just some cards and some dice
Yeah,
and
yeah,
GT dice and stuff. Amazing, amazing.
yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, let's have a quick look at the Thremier event. Then let's have a quick look at the breakdown. I'm just going to pause this, and then by the magic of video recording, when we return, you will see the Longshanks in front of you. He says if you can find the button. And just like that, there we are on Longshanks. So, yeah, let's have a quick look at a little bit of this from the Thremier then. So, obviously, it was a smaller event. Let's see how many players. 20 players rather than the 32 from the main GT. So, a little bit smaller. So, we've got quite a few unused primaries here. We've got a lot of favouring in terms of number of games with Mando and Obi-Wan. So, two popular characters in their own right. Looking at the kind of the breakdown of the primary units, is there anything that kind of leaps out at you from this that you were particularly surprised by, perhaps?
Well, I think one of this is because we were doing kind of a casual Thremia style, it
Yeah,
was very often like an anchor. So
sure.
people were playing 2 games of one combination, then switching out the off primary for the other one in the third game a lot. So I think
Sure.
that makes we saw a lot of Obi being played in a lot of games, Mando being played in a lot of games,
Yeah, Balin as
Balin,
well. Yeah, and
quite a few people
Jedi
that were
Hunter.
playing
Yep.
him.
Yep. No,
But
that's
it was a
nice.
good mix of things. Um,
Yeah, let's have a look at
yeah,
the.
it's kind of just like everything and everything.
Yeah, sure. So I think something that leapt out at me with the stats center when I looked at this one was it was great to still see a rebel list hitting the top. I
Mm.
mentioned it in my discussion on the video the other day. It's good to see that Cassian and Boss are still able to perform. Cassian, obviously, this month has been taken vastly less, and his win rate's fallen right off, but I do think that is related to the strength of the players bringing Cassian, in some cases,
Yeah,
rather than the strength of Cassian himself.
yeah. So Cassian's a very interesting one because he's got like hit on 2 prongs. Like
Yeah,
his biggest crutch in Base and Turret got hit, and that
Yep.
reevaluates how you have to play as squads entirely,
Yep.
because you don't just get to run on free economy. And secondly, just downgrading all the distances on his
Yeah,
identity
definitely.
just makes such a difference to how you learn to play the game as having played quite a lot of Cassian myself.
Indeed, yes.
That's just a complete recalibration of how you can place things to react to certain things getting wounded, right?
Yeah.
So I did expect quite a noticeable delta from as people would maybe go in with similar lists to before and find out they might be in for a rude awakening, or
Yeah.
just not necessarily
The
having
easy,
the
yeah.
time to get that muscle memory back on the table.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And as I say, I think the other thing is the balance patch dropping. As we discussed this at many events and things like that. It was needed, right? It was
We
needed.
went full
But the
chaos for this one. We were like, no, if
yeah,
it happens 2 days before,
exactly. Yeah,
you're
it's
playing with
in.
it.
Yeah, exactly. No,
We're not
and I
having a
think
dead GT.
yeah, and I think that was correct, absolutely. But the other thing is as well as I think that a lot of the top players as well were wanting to experiment with some of these things and going, oh right, oh can I try this? Oh, we say let's take Phil Johnson as an example here, running some of his GT list, which we will look at later. Really wanted just to get Balin on the table and tried his Seps, said no, I'm not going with the Seps, and then went all out with a Balin Maul list pretty much the whole way through this event and then the GT as well.
Yeah, the magic school bus.
Yeah,
Can't wait for this thing.
yeah, it's going to be good. But yeah, so I think it's really really nice to see, and also very positive that there were some players here who are maybe not as well known, shall I say, on the UK scene. So how were people kind of finding the Thremier event? Was it a nice casual bit of fun? Was it super competitive? How did that feel from a TO point of view? Were you making lots of judge calls?
Yeah, no, there was some kind of simpler judge calls in the sense of, yeah. So a lot of the faces that you might not recognize from the general tournament scene, the names you might recognize, quite a few of them were actually from last year's Gamers Expo,
Oh,
and they
lovely.
said they had a great time and they were just like immediately looking out for registrations for this year to come back.
Oh, that's great.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it was just kind of normal kind of calls. No one was like super sharking though, since
Yeah.
there wasn't really any prizes on the line. So
Yeah, yeah,
other than that pesky Longshanks rating. So,
yeah, exactly. No, that's great.
so yeah, it was pretty relaxed overall.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. And I've just seen here a personal shout out to Kay. I think this might be their first tournament game win. I think that this might be their third tournament and their first tournament game win. So yeah, if that is the case, well done, Kay. If that is the Kay I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
that game I remember hearing that Anakin, I think he wounded Mace Windu and Obi-Wan in like back-to-back activations or
Oh,
something like that. It was
oh
like
my
the perfect. It was
goodness!
like the
Yeah,
true Anakin dream.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
So it sounded like a
really
good
good.
time.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Yeah, and it's there's familiar names up at the top. Someone who I will mention, Jay here. Jay, I know ran a completely different list in the main GT. Decided to run the Separatists in this Thremier here. So yeah, the Riff box, the Sarge Kalani and the Magna Guard, then Dooku, Django, and the B1s. So yeah, I played versus some of this in a practice game with Jay. So yeah, Jay very good at Shatterpoint. But great to see feeling confident enough in the lists of the GT that they could just go, yeah, all right, I'll play something completely different on the Friday. So that's really good as well.
Definitely put in the work for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talk plenty about
Yeah, absolutely.
the Shatterpoint, so yeah.
And then I guess my final question then about this Thremier event was, so you mentioned last year you did your your frenemies event. obviously we might get a brand new way of playing Shatterpoint. We don't know what AMG will come up with in the next 12 months. But let's say the game systems, as it were, remain the same. There's not been huge tweaks to either you running 2 squads, 3 squads, or 4 squads. Would you think that you would run at the casual Friday event a Thremier again? Do you prefer that over the frenemies?
So one of the upsides to running Thremio specifically at Games Expo is we seem to be getting a May patch.
Mm-hmm.
That's the pattern.
Yep.
And so just having a not too wonky way for people to just get those lists on the table, those new models on the table, before the GT might still be very viable, very useful to players. So I think it's a pretty good way of doing things. I mean, we could always think about whether we want it to be really spicy. I know on a different podcast recently, I heard one of the devs talking about like how much they're encouraging people to like just if they want to make their own format, change things up, go for it. Like they fully support that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was on Zion's Finest recently.
All right. No eras. Take Vader, all 3 Vaders. Let's go.
Like, encouraging people to kind of push the boundaries of the tournament rules. But
okay.
I think Thremia, it's simple. It's if you haven't got players who are not maybe as experienced or as tournament savvy, it's not too complicated for them to wrap their heads around. So
yeah, and there is, and as you say, there's
a decent mid round.
Yeah, and as you say, that there is a balance of being able to test a bunch of new units because for example, let's say the Separatists or the Galactic Republic, you can very easily build a list that's got a bunch of from just this balance patch we've had just now. Empire, Galactic Republic, easy Separatists, easy enough just to run 3 lists that work well with each other, mess about with them, see what sticks, and then you know what you're going into for the GT the next day.
Yeah.
Very good. Right. Well, I will now flip over and get us up with the actual grand tournament itself. Right, so we are now into the main GT. So obviously we've got our 32 players, which means there's going to be 5 rounds. And something here which I think should be regarded as both positive and negative in some ways, I think, is how few primary units remained unused. But the negative is that, my goodness, why did no one take Hondo, Riff, Han, or Han, really? I mean, I'm less surprised with Lando, personally, and certainly Fulcrum. I think she is a little bit sad that she didn't see any buff in the update, perhaps. But maybe next year will be her time to shine. But yeah, how do you feel as a tournament organizer to see so many of those primary units hitting the table? That's got to make you happy, right?
Yeah, it was great to see, and clearly a sign that the patch this month had really just like reset everyone's expectations of what they could play or get away with in a GT.
Yeah.
A couple of surprises to me. I regard Riff as one of the, if not best, kind of separatist-esque primaries, whether he's running with scoundrels or not, or one of the better scoundrel primaries. I think he is one that relies on reps, though, so perhaps people just don't have the time with him. Myself included, I definitely need to get more reps with that character for sure, but I think his ceiling's very high, especially with strategic positions being so prevalent.
Yep.
And Han as well. That was surprising to me. To me, like him and Jin is just like one of the better rebel pairings that hasn't really been touched particularly.
Yeah, for sure.
And has room to grow in the wake of Cassian coming down a tier or 2.
Yep, definitely.
And then Fraser in shambles, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I know. No Hondo Fraser tearing his hair out up north. Yeah.
I play a lot of Hondo as well, so I was if one of us had been there, there's a very high chance he would have been represented and might have done pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I think you're absolutely right though. I mean, who would have thought that our most brought primary unit would have been Moff Gideon? You know what?
I was looking at the list. I was like, have I been transported back to Games Expo 2024? Because that was the time when Moff Gideon and Mando had been delayed.
Yes.
So we just had Hunter, and everyone played Hunter. It was it's like a complete bad batch fest
Amazing.
at that
Amazing.
GT.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think and I think this, as you say, this really highlights how healthy this balance patch appears to have been. You know, obviously it's so early doors. You know, it is the first one. It's both exciting because it's an exciting new world to be diving into, but also we can't really read too much into all of this because, as we say, it might be that the Cassian players go, well, actually, you know what? I don't know. Kiadi and Morgan are not really my flavour of of whatever, and I'm going to go back to Cassian, and oh look, Cassian's still all right, and same with Boss, right? Boss still seems to be all right. So we will see how it shakes down over the next 12 months. But yeah, I know from our many conversations that we've had at the UK events, particularly through the past few months, how excited you were for this update to drop, and it's really positive. If we scroll down a little bit here, let me find some more statistics. So in terms of the missions, we see that 12 players brought strategic positions, 9 brought sabotage showdown, and then 4 brought never tell me the odds, 3 on shifting, and 3 on first contact. I wouldn't say that's any big surprise to me. What do you think about that? The mission choices? Anything leaping out there?
Certainly not for the UK.
No.
I mean, UK is definitely sabotage lovers, and strategic has kind of jumped into that pool.
Yeah, and again, it's new. Again, strategic, it's new. People like playing new things, right?
It's new. It's got interesting effects. It's quite aggressively slanted. Like you can fight over like these 2 core points, struggle 1, and then if you get an advantage, struggle 1, then you have this big rotation tool in struggle 2. I think it's quite appealing, and especially to a lot of like the Republic lists, particularly that the UK loves to play. So
indeed,
I'm not surprised to see a lot of it. I played it myself recently, and yeah, it's very much lined up with how I often want to play the game. So.
Yeah, and then sadly, first contact just bumbling along on three players, bringing it there. But yeah, no, so that's nothing too surprising there.
Yeah, and the UK's never been fond of odds, which is also interesting, especially when you look at the American GT.
Yeah.
Odds at the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Back with a vengeance. I think also a really good way to combat some of these like melee Jedi lists cropping up. So.
Yeah, for sure. No, I do, and I do like first contact and never tell me the odds. So we might be seeing more of those from me. And then the other thing as well, which I must commend you on as the TO. Thank you for getting all 32 people to submit an SBT coded list, because it means we can now look at the other kind of the characters as well. And I think here this is also really exciting, right? The most brought unit, Death Trooper Escort. Fantastic! What a unit in the game. Great to see. Then Death Troopers with 9, Rex as well, always so strong. And Rex, let's bear in mind, Rex hasn't had any tweaks since his release. So Rex,
day 1, and he's just like very well balanced.
Perfectly balanced, the bestest of the boys.
Death Trooper Escort is Empire Rex. So
exactly. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, we got about 2/3, by the way. We got about 2/3 SPT list, so that was a bunch of work for me to rebuild people's lists so that we have perfect data.
Oh, well then, absolutely, thank you. Well, thank extra thank you for getting that.
But it was pretty good. It was much more than I expect to, honestly.
Really good. And then as we see, Moff Gideon, 7 Scorch, 8 players, not surprising there. 7 Scorch still pretty good. You just need to remember that it's melee only for the attack. After another Galactic Republic unit makes an attack. Then Fixer brought 7 times as well. That's interesting. And then we kind of filter our way down. But really good to see Empire kind of creeping back up to the top. I know you're a fan of some of your Empire lists. I believe we spoke last time about how probably Fifth Brother is your most played unit in the game, so no doubt we will be seeing you running some empire of some sort in the future.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. So no, that's really great, and yeah, thank you for getting all that data sorted. I do really appreciate it as a stats based content creator. So that's really good. So let's have a look at some of the lists and talk through the kind of the day. And I must ask a question here for round one. Actually, let's pull up round one. So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask a question here. So round one gets drawn, and obviously round one is a bit of a shoot anyway. You know, you it's a luck of the draw, roll of the dice. However, it appears that Zombie Hedgehog James and Tolstar Tolly, who I both played up at the Sheffield GT, they're both part of the same Shatterpoint community, listed themselves as the same Shatterpoint community. I don't think they travel down with each other, but they certainly play each other regularly up in Sheffield. And then they drew each other round one. Was it a deliberate choice to allow friendly fire, or was this an accidental mistake?
No, if you come to a big event of mine, it's a super serious event. You got no protection from me. I come very much from, you know, the other game systems and stuff where there's no kind of like rigging or tag system or club system, and no, you get who you get round one.
Perfect.
And you know, I've had it before where I've travelled 2 hours and run into my friend round one and I had to beat them. So
yeah.
I'm well used to it on the other end. So
fair,
it's just the way I operate. I don't like to artificially affect the pairings in any way when everyone's fighting for like a really nice big prize. So
sure, lovely. No, that's absolutely fine. I just felt I had to ask on behalf of the Sheffield community there. So I've asked the question, and that's the answer. No, that's absolutely fine. We've had it before with big international Blood Bowl events that I attended. We've had it before where people have literally sat down with hundreds of teams and sat down versus the other team that's come from their local club. And you know, and you sit there and go, oh, okay, great. Or you know, you've driven up 6 hours somewhere, and you know, I've seen fathers and sons play versus each other. I've played versus some of my best friends in round one as well. It's just what happens sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's the teams are slightly more of an argument for it in my perspective, just because you've got like maybe suddenly you've got then, you know, 5 people all playing against the same people. And it's often more of a multinational event, right? A lot of the time, so
yeah,
I see it more there, and you know, there's nothing wrong with doing it, but
yeah,
it's just a way.
That's fair enough. No, absolutely, very, very good. Right, so obviously I've looked over a bunch of these lists here as part of the stat show already. But it would be, I think it would be interesting to look at some of the builds that we have here. I think we will look at Zombie Hedgehog James, who won the event going 5-0. So a big well done to James here. I think we'll have a quick look at his list here, and I'd appreciate your thoughts on this one as well. So obviously we got a bit of a Rebels beginning. So we got Kanan, Ezra, Rebel Commandos with Jin, Callus, and Zeb. Now I know that Jin, Callus, and Zeb is pretty spicy. That's good fun. Fraser's a big fan of running that one. I think I ran that one at your last event. Had some great fun with the Jin Hera build as well. So yeah, that's kind of pretty standard. You know, not too much being tweaked there. Just the Rebel Commandos taking a slight little buff on the kind of infiltrate ability there. But the interesting one is this Vader Emperor's Servant, DTE, ISB, then Moff Gideon, Third Sister, and Fifth Brother. So none of these units, I don't think any of them got tweaked in the balance, right?
No, it's unchanged list, right?
Okay, yeah, I think so. I think it's unchanged, isn't it? So why do you think? And obviously you were there at the event. You know, maybe you saw some things. Why do you think James has done so well, other than obviously being a good player, with this list in this new meta?
I think it's definitely a comfort pick for him, right? Like he must have however many games with this list at the moment by this point, especially because I think he played the same thing last year.
Yeah,
if memory serves.
Yeah, I've played something similar against him. Yeah,
and yeah, it's just like the dice consistent. Like it's a very dice consistent melee list to a big degree. You've got 2 tie breaks, which Emperor Servant loves marching around when he wounds things, and he's having a lower fail rate because of Moth's additional dice, right?
Sure, yeah.
Which could definitely help.
You've got a
It's just
double tiebreaker in there as well. I mean, Moth
yeah,
and Fifth
exactly,
Brother. Yeah, double
exactly.
tiebreakers. Yep.
And it's just a very solid list. You know, you've got some decently tanky units between the Inquisitors, Darth Vader, even the ISBs. Like defensively, they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
For
Yeah.
a 3-point unit, and yeah, it's consistency. I mean, it's pretty close to what I would run as an Empire list, although I definitely potentially swing more around to Grand Inquisitor again with all the
Sure.
Force users in the metagame
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
he's
Yeah.
a pretty attractive proposition,
Yep. And then
especially if people are bailing and there's some Shinhatis
yes,
to
yes, and some other Force users
knock
knocking
some
around.
Force off,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then as well, you mentioned never tell me the odds being favourable against some of these Jedi lists running around as well, isn't there? And and I know that James, that's what James brought never tell to the GT up in Sheffield as well. So it's clearly got the reps on it. So no, it's just I think it's worth looking at, certainly as an interesting list there. I would be curious to see how this list performs, because I'm sure someone somewhere is going to go, oh right, well if that one won the GT, I'm going to give that a go. So I'd be curious to see how this list performs with other people who, as you say, maybe don't have as many reps in with the list. Moving down into another one of our top two here. So Arahane, Ben, let's look at their list. So this one, a lot more Jedi focus, lots of new stuff kind of going on here. We got Ki-Adi-Mundi, who obviously basically got the whole card rewritten. For those,
Kit Fisto, right?
yeah, and sorry, Kid Fisto, sorry, I mean, yes, yeah, sorry, yeah. So you got Ki-Adi-Mundi, no change to Ki-Adi, Shakti, and then the Padawan's got that little buff there, really nice little buff. I played a game with them the other night, really fun. And then Kit Fisto, who got his entire card rewritten. So you might as well have just released a completely different unit at that stage, I think. Then with Sabe, again having some really good buffs, and then Wolfpack super strong still. Then Jedi Hunter, Rex, as we've seen, just super strong there. Arfs have that the coordinated defensive dash, which we saw from the previous balance update, and then Plo Koon, Ahsoka, and the Clone Commandos haven't seen any tweaks since the previous buff there. So to see these lists here, I mean, we knew that Ki-Adi with Vader Jedi Hunter was going to be lethal in this meta. That was hypothesized already. How do you think the feeling was at the event? Was that something people were talking about? How strong that Ki-Adi Vader list was?
Maybe not that specific list, but particularly that was just one of them, right? Because we'll get on to there's a couple of different ways that people can building around Jedi Hunter.
Yeah, we'll look at some of those. Yeah.
I think Ki-Adi-Mundi was the underrepresentation across the field this weekend for me.
Yeah.
Like that was the one character where I looked at the lists once I got them all in. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because this guy's so strong. Like he's so good. He works with so many different things. He's just a tent pole for Republic for me. If you're not quite like bossing necessarily, like it's kind of the two ways you would go. Like build around boss, build around Ki-Adi.
Yep.
So to see only 3 in the entire field was a massive shock to me. So Jedi Hunter's interesting. We've been slowly seeing between the two balance updates now that defense has overall gone up, just in terms of health pools.
Yes.
Which makes it harder to one-shot things. And Darth Vader Jedi Hunter just remains as like that biggest thing where you can include him in your list, and your models are going to delete theirs more often.
Yeah.
Because of that, and get like consistent wounds. And he's also just a big brick. On top
for
of
sure.
that, deals a bunch of damage. He's a big brick. He's tough to take down, and also just synergizes with all the healing from that Ki-Adi-Mundi squad.
Yeah.
He brings 4 force. He doesn't spend 2 force himself very often. Like he brings 4 force, so he's funding the force pushes and force repulsors, which is really good.
Yeah, and this as you say, it's a Ki-Adi anchor here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vader getting the love twice, and then Plo Koon twice. Very interesting. And then Ben actually commented on my one of my videos and said that they had made the decision to they thought they would either be playing James or Phil
Yeah.
in the final round, and then therefore decided that they would be happy just locking themselves into Kit Fisto, because they couldn't risk not bringing Vader into the boss Vader mirror. Yeah,
he said before the match as well. Yeah, when I was having a look at what they brought, and that's 100%.
Yeah. And just talking about that boss Vader, then, if we look at Helen, who finished third here, this is another way of doing the build, really, isn't it? You got Vader, Jedi Hunter, Wolf, and the 501st with Boss, Fixer, 7 Scorch. That to me really screams, I am happy to face either the Vader mirror or the boss mirror, because
I'm here to punch.
because Wolf turning off the crits for so many of those units, Vader just dishing out the damage, and then obviously Fixer's giving a heal and a dash for free at the start of his activation to any one of them. It's all gearing up, and there's heals on the 501st tree, heals on 7 Scorch if you go that route, heals on Boss if you're on that side of the tree. It's you can be healing yourself back up as well. Very, very aggro.
And Helen's been doing great with this list for a while, but I think it's just again feeding back into the boss nerfs, right? Like they took his consistency down, they took his expertise down, etc., and he gets it back with Vader Jedi Hunter. Like he becomes a much closer approximation offensively to what he was beforehand.
Sure, yeah, and then you've also got a Kiadi with Shakti and Padawans. If you want to drop the Vader Kiadi, you can, and then Mace providing a bubble as well. It's you've got so many different builds that you can run with this list here. But Helen favouring the boss Vader every time, just because I think that's what she enjoys most, and she's got the reps
and the
on
Mace
with.
Mundi, I mean, it's a list I absolutely adore at the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the strongest things you can be doing.
For sure. But also, to be fair, as I say, really that Vader Kiadi list could go. You're probably not bossing with Mace or Kiadi in that, but the fact that you've got so many different options on the table, Helen could just completely curveball you and go, you thought I was going to play Boss Vader? Well, actually, no. I'm playing Mace Kiadi here, or I'm playing Vader Kiadi. Now, what are you going to do? And you might there's a bit of list chicken going on there as well, which I think is fun.
I do think that comes into more like specific unit selections in the Premier for sure. Like how many of those are like truly viable if you're like min-maxing to the full in a comp event. But for sure, those options are definitely there.
Yeah, really nice. Right, we'll look at Jay and Phil's lists next, and kind of a little bit with Dan as well, with Jay here as well. So I think so Jay's list. I mean, if you've never played versus Jay, and both of us have, we've both done training games versus Jay as well. But Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Mandalorian, Super Commandos. Okay, some sense here. Armorer, Paz Vizsla, Covert Mandos. Yeah, absolutely fine. Mother Talzin, Django, and Night Sisters. All right, okay. Then Leia, Lobot, and the ISBs, and you're like, what on earth's going on here? And then when you look at the builds here, you've got this Leia Mother Talzin going on, and that Jay is just performing incredibly well with. What's going on with this list? Can you factor in any thoughts on this list?
Yeah, I think I'd say as she's gone into in discussion that just like presenting puzzles for people that they don't know how to deal with.
Yeah,
I think it's a great vibe for coming to like an event where people come from all different metas. The ISB agents and the Super Commando's ability, like she definitely prioritizes a lot. I know. That lockdown stuff, and it's just a mess of stuff, but it's also got a lot of classic revenge triggers. Two of the best revenge triggers that didn't get hit, right?
For sure. For sure.
In this update, or three of them, I guess. Include you got Ahsoka, Talzin and Leia. So either way,
well, I was going to say,
if you're looking to be. Oh, go on.
No, I was going to say also not quite a revenge, but also you've got the Django Fett out of reserve as well. Like it's that's also nasty as well. It's almost that it's like you forget there's a revenge, or you forget something's about to happen, right?
Yeah,
So
you've got
and
Revenge,
Paz, yeah,
Django reactives,
yeah,
like Lobot shutting points down,
yeah,
the supports leaving, leaving engagement with supports, which
yeah,
I think Towson can actually manually do if she needs to sneak a couple of extra damage around
yeah,
an
yeah,
attack, but
yeah,
I don't think ever
yeah.
come out. And then yeah, just that Ahsoka brick with the Mandalorians with Paz as well can be extremely
Yeah,
punishing to try and break up and deal with. I know
yeah.
I've had to resort to very specific measures to do so. So
Indeed, yeah, and then to top it all off, Jay only plays First Contact.
yeah,
So not only are you sat down going,
yep,
what on earth are you going to play
hmm
versus me? Now I'm also playing on First Contact.
yeah,
But then it's not only Jay that's making this work. With this Mother Towson. Let's have a
hmm
quick look at Dan's before we come back to Phil's list. But Dan, I mean, this is brilliant, right? Morgan, Death Troop Escort, Dark Troopers, Mother Towson, Kenobi out of hiding, Night Sisters, Asajj, Aura Singh, and the Magna Guard, and then Maul, Savage, and the Bounty Hunters. I mean, like, I cannot believe anyone. If you'd wound the clock back, a few months and said that Savage was going to be featuring in a top 8 list at a GT, no one would have believed you. They would have just said, oh well, they must be bringing, Cassian Kanan or something like this, or Boss Hunter, and then they've just thrown in one random Seps list, drawn the new player round 1 and dumped it on them, and then just not played it at all. But instead, Dan's gone and brought all of those the Night Sister kind of that Dathomirian
yeah,
brilliance
it's
to the table.
masterpiece, right? He's got every
Yeah.
single. He's got most of the models that can gain the Dathomirian tag. I
Yes.
mean, he's
Yeah.
missing like Han and Chewie and like Dengar, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
other than that,
Yeah.
he's got quite a lot of them.
Yeah, if it's not paid aid, it's and Aura Singh's becoming Dathomirian at the start,
Yeah.
no doubt, and then the build as well. On top of that, it's a Morgan anchor. So not only is he brought such a wide variety of primary units here and units across the board that we wouldn't see normally. He's Morgan anchored it and managed to do the what has kind of been regarded as unthinkable. If you listen to a lot of the content creators, no one seems to think that Morgan and Mother Towson is going to work, but yet
Yeah.
here Dan has managed to make it work with this.
So I believe,
this,
yeah. I believe the Obi-Wan is definitely central to that strategy, right? So just like Morgan taking damage to give out mind tricks, just like on
really
demand.
nice. Really nice,
It's just like such a cool combo, and then you've got double manipulating hands, so it's a lot of control available.
And you've got the Night Sisters dishing out expose if you've got the right things attacking as well.
Morgan's going to really definitely hit much more consistently with access to that for sure.
Yeah, and stay alive longer with those disarms being plinked as well. So yeah, absolutely wicked stuff there. So yeah, so really, really, really impressed to see two.
And I heard he's going for all 4 of the Dathomirian badges now.
Oh,
that's the
here
goal.
we go. Here we go.
He's going for the Infinity Gauntlet.
Amazing. Well, I wish Dan all the best. Yeah. Fingers crossed on that one. Talking about going for badges, we've got Phil Johnson, who's currently number 1 in the world with Balin, because apparently no one else is playing Balin. But here, Phil was running. I better read the list. Balin, Shin, and the HK droids with Maul, Shakti, and the Padawans, which I think is a fantastic build. And then a kind of throwaway bounty hunter list, which we won't go into here because he dropped it in round 1, and then really focused on this Balin Maul list for the rest of it. Phil's spoken about this on his recent video that he did about the tournament, so do go and check that out if you haven't seen it. But basically, Maul is bringing force to the table to feed Balin, because Maul doesn't need to spend any force on his turns because he can just hurt himself. Do you think this is the new hot meta? Do you think this is the way to play Balin?
I think it's one of the better ways for sure. It's really funny because I was drafting lists on the day of like balance patch and stuff, and I drafted this list and I posted it in Phil's Discord. He was like, "Oh yeah, I've been thinking about that exact list. I think it's got legs."
Amazing.
Having 3 force uses for Shin Hati is just really cool. Like your entire squad just gets to drag her around and make free attacks and stuff, which is really cool. And you've got 4 force with Shakti, and then Maul's not spending any of it. He's enabling your other attrition. Padawans are like soaking off damage on your vulnerable pieces potentially. And it's a really cool list.
And the other thing is as well is you do have that get out of jail card with Shakti's force repulse. The Padawans can spike. You
Yeah.
know, if you know they can wound anything.
Yeah.
You know,
And
if
again, they're
they
getting their
spike, yeah,
focus very consistently, right?
exactly, yeah, yeah, really
In this
consistent
list.
focus
So,
and an impact as well. You know, now with their little buff to gain an impact as well, so it's more dice being rolled again. And yeah, and it seems to be working. So yeah, I'm definitely really keen to keep an eye on how that one goes. Particularly, you know, as you say, we're entering into maybe a bit more of an aggressive meta again, which is very interesting. As if we scroll down a little bit further, where's he gone? Paul Sutton. We have to mention Paul, and we'll come back up and look at some other lists. But we have to mention Paul if we're talking about offense, because obviously Viers is now bringing the defense with these extra dice for stormtroopers. So Paul, for those of you who are not aware, Paul has been a huge Viers fan for ages. He's even got a shiny Shatterpoint Viers card that's been signed by the actor that played Viers. Now, I will throw this one out there because it will be a pub quiz question at some point in the community, no doubt. Which was who was the person that gave Paul the shiny Viers card that he then got signed? And the correct answer is Shatterpoint Steve. So Paul, I managed to get the timing right and get the shiny Viers. It's my spare shiny Viers card to Paul, so he could get it signed. But this build here, so yeah, it's wicked, isn't it? Yeah, so it's so cool, right? So we got Krennic, DTE, and the Shore Troopers. That's pretty standard. Viers, Snowtrooper Lieutenant, and the Death Troopers. Then Moff Gideon, Death Trooper Specialist, and Snow Troopers, and Morgan, Enoch, and the Night Trooper. So just the Morgan box. And then it looks to have been. It's not quite the Viers anchor, is it? No, he didn't get Viers out of the way. He didn't play Viers in round one, but he's tried to Viers anchor the rest of it. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to speak to Paul yet, but how do you think Viers was performing over the weekend? Were people happy with the changes, particularly that defense update?
I think the changes are very cool. His activations with that identity just feel very impactful now. I mean, I got like an early game against it on Tuesday before I was setting up for Expo and getting ready for the weekend. And the chonkiness of the list, it was very hard to conventionally kind of just break up when the game was clustered around very specific points of the board.
Yeah.
His activations felt good. I'm not sure about the lieutenant. I think so, and I don't think Viers is still the easiest to play. I think his record will definitely suffered because of that. Quite a lot of people excited to get him on the table. I think a lot of people playing full Empire premieres were excited to get him on the table, right? As like an option for that.
Yeah, sure.
And I do think that potentially he does actually benefit more from like a 2x2 style list, because I think he needs very specific pieces. I think he needs those really good pieces like Death Trooper Escort in his list. I mean, I think we saw the guy who won New Jersey, the Top Deck Games one. He played a point down, right? Because he had Snow Trooper Lieutenant, because he couldn't afford to take Death Trooper Escort out of his other squad that he wanted to play all day. So I do think once your unit quality gets stretched thin by a full Premier, how much is Viers bringing to the table? Because his activations can be quite awkward sometimes. With him just getting a regular move, like he wants those Death Troopers, get those free advances, and things like that. So I don't think he's quite unlocked yet, but I think there's a lot of potential. I think his design's really cool now. So
yeah, and I'm sure that Paul is just going to keep on playing Viers. I think if you've got a signed card by the guy, you've got to use it at every opportunity, right? So pretty good. So a couple more lists then to look at. Particularly focusing then on another primary unit that saw buffs in the balance. Let's look at some Padme lists. So we've got James Green finishing in 8th here, and particularly looking at the Padme section here. So we've got Vader, Jedi Hunter, Kenobi out of hiding, Padawan learners, Kiadi Mundi, Ahsoka, and Clone Commandos. Yep, pretty standard build there. Vader, Kiadi there. Then we've got Mace, Rex, and the Arfs, and Padme, Sabe, and then we haven't got the Handmaidens. Instead, we've got the 212. And I think that James was mainly wanting to run the Kiadi Vader, which is probably the strongest one here. But looking then in particular at this Padme Mace list, what do you think of this? In particular, that 212 over the Handmaidens.
I'm not sure. I've always been quite happy with the handmaidens, to be honest. I've with them getting an extra shove on 3.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, I was always quite happy with them. But you could run kind of any kind of clones in here.
Mm.
Um,
Strikes me as
Padme
quite a
does have
fast
the
list. Quite a
yeah.
fast
Padme.
list here. Yeah.
Mm, mm. Padme does have that ability to kind of bring them both up to the table, like a
Mm.
full advance,
Yep.
and that might be the thinking is where they can then offset their need to like focus and take an aim shot, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
She can give them a bit of mobility that way. Um, but I think there's a lot of things you could play in this slot. I mean, I've been toying around with 7 Scorched Ponds, which is kind of the
Yep.
classic like no force list to like really give her a lot of force to play with for
Yep.
expensive kit. Um, and Mace is definitely one of the 2 pairings I've kind of gravitated to for sure. Just
Yeah.
the protection for her to let her recovers behave a bit more usefully on defense, right?
Yeah.
Prevent her to getting blasted down quite so rapidly. I think Ahsoka Jedi No More is like the other primary I'm really looking towards testing
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah, and here we see Mike's list that I've just pulled up as well.
Mm.
So Padme with Sabe and the handmaidens
Yeah.
here. Mace, very similar Mace list here, 501st. Then yeah, Ahsoka, Shakti, and the Padawans again. That's very interesting in terms of feeding
Yeah.
Padme again, more force, right? So if we
Exactly.
yeah, and if we look here, doesn't actually come into play. Mike plays the Mace list here, but I don't think that
Yeah.
Ahsoka list does
I think
particularly
it's pretty
badly.
much the exact Ahsoka list that I've been toying around with Padme.
Yeah.
Is with
Yeah.
Shakti and the Learners or 501st, one of the 2.
Yeah, and the other thing is as well with Shakti, you know, she brings that one force to the table. Unless you find yourself in that position where you need the force repulse, right? Or you've got such a healthy force list. You know, some of these Jedi lists can have 8 force, right? So you can often find yourself going, well, I'm not going to spend 5 force on the next 2 cards. So sure, I'll force repulse because I can. But unless you find yourself in a desperate need to do it, Shakti's turns are force free as well, right? So you're not actually spending that force that she's bringing to the table. So
Yeah,
again, it's feeding Padme, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very good, very good. Right, I guess final question then is there anyone else's list that caught your eye? Any other units you fancy having a little look at, or are you have we kind of covered everything that you also wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think a lot of the players that played Ewoks, were definitely on the more kind of like your casual and newer side.
Okay.
I think actually that like a heavier focus on those Ewok supports with the way their rules are currently written. I think they've
Yep.
actually got a lot of potential with the trappers.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, Amy here running the full Ewok. Yeah, you love to
yeah,
see
I
it.
still don't. Yeah, it's Rockstar. We had table 1. We had an Ewok mirror on round 1 of
Oh
this
my
event,
lord!
which I
Oh
think
my
I've got a
lord!
photo of
Oh,
somewhere,
that is
which was
brilliant.
incredible to see.
Yeah, that is brilliant.
But I still don't think it's Pat Blue time. I think,
No.
but I think there's definite potential there now, and the Ewok supports are kind of just good enough now that you can play them and not be too unhappy.
Yeah,
So I
fair
think
enough.
Smithy will be very happy to
Yeah.
to enjoy those.
Yeah, I'm sure, no doubt, Smithy will be one of our local guys. He'll be hitting those Ewoks again. Yes, yes. The comment did. I think he posted in our local WhatsApp group something along the lines of, oh. No buffs to Hondo or Cad Bane, but at least the Ewoks have got something. Yeah, it was like that. So yeah, pretty good, fantastic. Right, let's jump back to the videos and finish up then. And there we are, back from our little look at the event. So yeah, I mean, kind of to close out, what are your overall thoughts then? Happy with the event? Happy with how the meta looks? What are you excited about?
Yeah, it was really diverse. I'm looking forward to getting just a ton more games on the table. We're having a little round robin at the store this Saturday and get a
Nice.
real good chunk of games in. The event itself went as smoothly as it could be. No super awkward calls, and everyone was really really lovely, pretty much across the board. I think the funniest judge call I had was Emma versus Jay, where
Okay.
they said, "Judge, can friends help friends measure?" when it came to measuring an objective range and an ingress range at the same time.
Okay.
I was like, there's nothing to stop you doing whatever with your range tool.
Yeah. Put as many range tools down as you want. It's like I'll just turn a blind eye. Yeah. Fantastic.
So that
That's
was
good.
quite entertaining. Everyone was
Yeah.
really lovely. I think we only had 4 people drop after
Yeah.
day 1 as well this time,
Yeah.
which was very different to last year where we had about
Yeah.
half the people when you played
Yeah,
day
and
1. So
I think one
that
was
was really great to see.
and I think one was pre known, and I think one was travel related as well. So
Yeah,
like
for the most
I
part.
think there was an awful, it sounded like some awful travel disruption in the UK that weekend.
Network
So
rail strikes again.
yeah, so that's absolutely fair. If people were worried about getting home, fair enough. Real life and getting back to your family, etc. must come first. So yes, that's important. Fantastic. Well, I guess the only other things we should add are I know you've got an event coming up in July because I've already bought a ticket for it. So there we go. I saw it sneak onto Longshanks, and I thought, I'm getting in on that. So there we go. So that's down. That's your usual place, Firestorm in Swindon in July, isn't it? Early July.
4th of July. Very easy to remember. We're doing the Mandalorian Veers promo pack for the first one they released because I hadn't actually had a chance to give those out yet, and so it's a good chance to get some foil Veers. Now he's freshly reworked.
Very good.
And we're also, as long as we hit enough players, we'll be raffling off either a Morgan or a Balin box. So it'll be a great chance to potentially get one of those brand new boxes we've been waiting for a while. So it's all in the
nice.
Discord as usual. There's a channel. It's the usual deal. PayPal me some poundos and go from there.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I will certainly be there. Looking forward to that one. And for those who haven't seen as well, Mystic Games in Whitney in Oxfordshire are also running an event in probably it will be just over a week's time when I drop this video from there. So that do check that one out if you can make that as well. That will be really good to see. So as usual, all that remains for me to say is first of all, thank you Ailsa for coming on. Really good to have a good chat again about that, and great to hear a positive debrief from UK Games Expo, not only from the tournament scene, also the meta and the fact that you had a good time this year as well. That's all sounding really good. But yeah, do hit the like, the subscribe, the follow, etc. You know the deal, guys. It's all the same spiel every time. So for those of you who aren't aware, I'm also about to leave to go on holiday. So I will drop this when this video is released. I will already be somewhere, fingers crossed, sunny, relaxing somewhere with a book in my hand and a beer in the other. So this will drop. So there will be no stat show dropping on the Monday as normal, but I'll do it as soon as I get back from holiday. So thank you very much once again, and bye for now.